Arsenal came back with a bang. A real bang. And they've sent a serious message to Manchester City, which is we're not collapsing. We're not crumbling. We are not falling apart as the mainstream media, as some of our own fans have suggested. We've had a blip, which is normal, and most title-winning teams have them. They've gone away to Leeds today, a team that almost got something away at Man City, but scored 2 goals. A team that was very good against Man United, especially in the opening 30 minutes of the game. Beat Chelsea. Okay? Was very unlucky recently not to beat, in a cup game, Newcastle away. A very hard team to beat. A really good run with loads of games without losing for Leeds United of late. But let's be blunt about this. Arsenal pinned them back. They nullified the crowd. They removed the team's intensity. And they scored 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. That is nothing short of emphatic. That is a response. That is a response to losing to Manchester United. And I'm going to get into it on a more footballing level in a moment, but I want to speak about the mentality to begin with. This is what I call mentality monsters. This is what I call the world and his dog are begging for you to collapse. Collapse and crumble. You've got a percentage of Arsenal fans that don't want to win the league, the Arteta outers. Of course, you've got Arsenal's real rivals, Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans, Tottenham fans, West Ham fans. You've got people that don't like the online Arsenal fan base, which is basically everybody. You've got the mainstream media that are always on the attack. And the whole week, the lies about the open play goals. 17th worst team in the league for open play goals. Lie. That's percentage of goals. But they now today move on to 22, maybe even 23 goals from open play. It depends if you count at least 22. It could be 23. Because the first goal, there was a free kick, a corner, it gets cleared. I don't know how long after a ball's been cleared does it become an open play goal. I don't quite know how they differentiate that statistically. But Arsenal move on to 22 goals from open play, which puts them into like 4th place in the league for most goals from open play, right? And only 2 goals behind the team that are in 2nd place. So this lie all week that Arsenal don't score enough goals, crazy. Of course, all the stats about the players not scoring in open play or scoring goals nullified today, especially with Gypkeres' goal. People hoping and praying for the collapse. They've come out and have answered that. And it was a really tough week for Arsenal players, but everything Arteta said in his press conference has come true. Everything Arteta promised has come true. There was some great rotation from him. I think starting Kai Havertz was correct. The partnership between him and Gypkeres on Wednesday night I thought looked excellent. So they've gone for that again. I love the fact that they, even with adversity and Saka being injured in the warm-up, Noni Madueke came in. Again, a lot of trolling, a lot of criticising. The shot the other night was horrendous, but a lot of trolling and criticising to really put him off. And I thought he played very well. I thought he was a threat in the first half. His crossing from set pieces was excellent. And he helped to mastermind those opening 2 goals. And I still think it shouldn't be an own goal and the goal should go. It should be an Olympico and it should belong to Madueke. I loved how Arsenal were more direct in this game. And they were getting that ball very early into Victor Gypkeres, whose hold-up play today I thought was very good. Sometimes some one-touch, like first-time one-touch layoffs to his teammates. Other times he was holding up and bringing others into play. And I like the directness. I like the changes. I think keeping Odegaard on the bench after some bad performances sends a message. I also liked when the likes of Odegaard came on, there wasn't a drop of intensity. They were sending a message today. And as I sat here and said to you, my loyal followers and subscribers, and I've got so much love and respect for you all, don't get downhearted by the lack of intensity in the second half in the Champions League game, because you were playing with a handbrake on. There was no need to go crazy in that game. Where today, though, with the world watching and the pressure building, it was, let's just keep going until the end. The third and fourth goal were great bits of play. I thought Martinelli came on and was a constant threat. He did very well on the left-hand side, an excellent cross. And as I've already said today on the Football Terrace, as soon as Leeds decided to open up an attack, there was extra space for you guys to work in. It was a wonderful cross, well read by Victor Gypkeres, gets across his man, scores that open play goal, removes that monkey from his back, removes that little bit of pressure as you're starting to go towards the business end of the season. A late goal as well for Gabriel Jesus to get him on the score sheet. And for me, it was an emphatic and a very, very, very well-deserved victory for Arsenal today on every single level. 2.39 XG in the game, 14 shots. And the most impressive statistic today, the most impressive fact today is 7 big chances created in this game for Arsenal. I don't think an Arsenal fan out there can ask for more. And if you are asking for more, honestly, I'm going to bitch slap you to wherever you're from. Wherever you're from, I'm bitch slapping you back. Do you know what I'm saying? Because for me, it was as perfect could be. And I do want to say this. I said at the beginning, or if you're watching the playback of this, I said it on the Football Terrace, that I'm at a point now when it comes to Arsenal games where, yes, their matches can absolutely be boring. But I think rivals are the reason that Arsenal are being labelled as boring. Because they turn up terrified, they camp deep in their own box, show no ambition, no attacking intent, and it's almost just damage limitations from the first whistle. They don't attack because they're scared stiff of what Arsenal will do in that space, that Arsenal will rip them apart. Let's call it what it is. Fear. It's pure fear. And you saw in the second half, as soon as Leeds said, right, we're 2-0 down now, we have to open up, bish, bash, bosh. So I don't disagree that from a spectacle point of view, Arsenal's games can be hard to watch. But that isn't Arsenal's fault. I think Arsenal being blamed for that is such a boring, banal, overused milk thing to say. I'm not suggesting that teams should do any different because they're going to hurt them. But I see this narrative out there that teams sit back against Arsenal because they don't think they're good at creating chances, and therefore, against a low block, they'll struggle. And I'm like, okay, so you think the Villas and the Cities and the Chelseas and the Uniteds are better in attack overall, better at creating than Arsenal, by and large? Yeah. So what you're telling me is teams fear the Villas and the Cities and the Man Uniteds more than Arsenal? Yes. But yet open up more against them. For me, that makes zero sense. I also get it from an Arsenal point of view, though. So hear me out here. I get why Arsenal fans, when you're not breaking down the low blocks, get annoyed and frustrated because it's your team and you want to win. But this is why sometimes in life, listening to somebody from outside your realm, someone that isn't emotionally invested, can often lead to making more sense. Because I'm not watching through rose-tinted glasses. I'm watching the spectacle as a neutral to a certain degree. Yes, I want you to stop City winning the league, but I'm seeing it as a neutral. And today, I thought your creativity in the first half was fine. Yes, you only had 2 shots, but why were you not getting those final shots off? Every cross, every cutback, every through ball. 7, 8, 9, 10 outfield Leeds players in their box. So hard to break down. And that's why your set pieces, 1, can be relied on, and 2, should be celebrated by Arsenal fans. Because if you weren't good at them, you might be sitting 6th, 7th in the league. But because you are good at them, because you're great at them, it enables you to open teams up in terms of the scoreline, and then they have to play. Then it becomes damage limitations, and let's go at Arsenal, and you can rip them apart. But again, I thought overall today, the mental response from Arsenal, fantastic. I think Arteta got it spot on, dropped Odegaard, who has been poor, threw in Madueke, no fears when Saka gets injured. I like the direct approach in the game. Of course, brilliant from set pieces. And I predicted you guys to win 3-1 or 3-0, one of the two. I thought you'd win quite well today. I did want 3 set-piece goals from you. That was what I was asking for, just because I love watching grown men cry on X and TikTok about Arsenal scoring set-pieces. It's something about it I find so hilarious. You watch those videos on YouTube, they're like corpsing videos of actors cracking up laughing. I find those brilliant. This gives me the same sort of comedic feeling in this, from a comedy perspective. I watch it and just go, it's hilarious watching grown men cry over it. Set-pieces were great. And then in the second half, do you know what? Leeds went for it. And you've got to give them credit because they were 2-0 down. But Arsenal stood strong for a 10, 15-minute onslaught. Didn't have a lot of the ball. Defended perfectly. And then just started to attacking numbers. They had great intent. Moved the ball brilliantly. Got the third, got the fourth. Could have been 5, 6, 7 in the end if we're being completely and utterly honest. But it was an emphatic response. A message sent to Manchester City And you know what? I'm going to end my little monologue here by saying this. Arsenal fans, get behind your team. Criticise where criticism is needed. That was a bad performance. That sub was wrong. We need more here. But stop losing your minds. Stop losing your minds and putting unnecessary pressure upon your team. Enjoy the ride. Get behind your team because you're the best you've been for 20 years. You have no idea how good or bad you're going to be next season. So enjoy these games, enjoy these moments, and have some fun with it, for God's sakes. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be fun. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Very, very important to the channel that you get that done. If you've got any hypes left for the week, hype the show up as well, people. It means a lot to me.